Alright, this is exactly what I was hoping for. Ever since La-Mulana left on the Wii and came to the PC, they've gone a long time without making any new video games, and despite making one Flash video game, they've been long overdue for something new, and now we got it, La-Mulana 2! For those of you wondering what I'm talking about, Tokyo Game Show recently came out in 2013, and in that game show, Nagoro teased that they were going to release something new. And that teaser was a flash video depicting the number 9 going inside a 0 alongside a Sephiroth icon with several different pictures. Nagoro, however, is notorious for constantly teasing their player base, and we can certainly see that the new teaser for La-Mulana 2 has a lot of things seen in La-Mulana 1. And as if to openly challenge their player base, Naramura openly said to try and find the secrets in La-Mulana 1 that lead to La-Mulana 2. So that's what I plan to do today. If you haven't figured it out already, this video will have a lot of spoilers. Like, a whole bunch of them. Game-breaking spoilers, like the fucking ending and everything. Don't watch this if you haven't beaten the game. Dear God, don't. This is your warning. Bad, spoilers ahead. Seriously. The most obvious thing to note in the La-Mulana 2 teaser is the line, 0th body and 9th spirit. Wow, that was hard to say. This is an obvious callback to the number cipher in the Mausoleum of Giants, but in this instance it has a bit more of a foreboding statement. In the numerical cipher for La-Mulana, 9 means ascension, while 0 means nothingness, according to Mulbrook. This may allude to something or someone ascending to the body of nothing. Now keep in mind, during the end sequence of the original game, Sean Kosugi made off with the Secret of Life, which was essentially the 9th generations of Mother's children being born during the final boss fight. Not much more is known beyond this, but we could speculate that Sean knows the potential behind the Secret of Life due to his lifelong research into that matter. Another big thing to note from the teaser is that the 6 icons that appear. It could be speculated that these are levels from the game, but I personally think that it feels more like a callback to the Sephiroth from the Chamber of Birth. This is an interesting thing to see considering the 6th generation of Mother's kids created these devices in order to populate Earth even further, so maybe there are far more of these on the planet than we expected? In terms of actual Hebrew tenets, the Sephiroth represent the will of the creators, so this could also be another interesting motif that can arise in La-Mulana 2. Especially since Mother actively enhanced some Sephiroth in order to produce the 7th generation of children. The third big focus of the La-Mulana 2 teaser is the giant tree in the background. This is an obvious callback to the Yggdrasil from Norse mythology, and is renowned for being the Tree of Life. An interesting thing to note, however, is that in the teaser, the Yggdrasil is reflected much in the manner that the ruins of La-Mulana are also reflected. Considering the nature of the Yggdrasil, could this be a hint that an element of death is looming over the world? Also, the reflected Yggdrasil looks like something similar to the painting Ash Yggdrasil, so that could be another thing to take into consideration. The 6 icons themselves are also an interesting focus. Each one represents a random historical element on Earth, but as players obviously know, there's far deeper meaning to things in La-Mulana, and nothing is ever trivial or trite in this game series. Probably the most striking and prominent icon among the 6 is the skull. The skull has an elongated cranium, and to me it brought up Palenque instantly. I don't think there was much of anything for Palenque in-game though, so that might be a dead end. Another possibility is that it could be similar to the crystal skulls depicted in Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, which would make more sense considering Mother is also an alien life form. It's a very foreboding icon, however. I can't imagine it predicting anything good for the plot of the game. The statue depicted in another icon is strikingly similar to the statue used to summon Mother's spirit at the end of the game. Not much could be gleaned from this though, especially since in La-Mulana we ended on us killing Mother. Hopefully more news surfaces in order to clear this up. The big shocker that probably tripped up a lot of fans was an icon depicting a UFO and what looks like a constellation of sorts. This is rather interesting considering how Mother is effectively an alien, so perhaps her kin somehow tracked her down to Earth? This would make the 2015 prediction on a tablet in Twin Labyrinths much more shocking since they predicted a catastrophic event occurring at that time. And aliens certainly would be catastrophic, but it would also make for a great plot focus as well. A tower is also depicted on one of the icons. Many players may instantly go back to the Tower of Ruin or the Tower of Goddess, but one thing that came to my mind was the disaster of the Tower of Babel. For those not well versed in mythology, the Babel disaster occurred in the BC era when humanity got too arrogant and tried to build a tower in order to meet God or become gods. Naturally, God didn't like this one bit and brought about a cataclysm that involved disrupting their unity through completely altering their speech into several different languages. The tower project was soon abandoned and left to decay since no one understood another and couldn't cooperate. For any savvy La-Mulana fans, an interesting thing to note is that the Tower of Babel is actually a set of rooms in the Tower of Ruin as well. To further make things more ridiculous, a skeleton in Inferno Cavern states that the cavern and Tower of Ruin were abandoned and do not suffer divine retribution. So this could mean that these zones were either untouched during Mother's death or relatively intact and still hold some secret. The tower is another foreboding thing to see in the teasers since it's often a sign of catastrophe as well. The palace depicted among the icons seems to be depicting the Taj Mahal, which is strange until you look at the history of the palace. The Taj Mahal was originally created when the 17th century Mughal emperor lost his wife during childbirth, and the grief he felt during that time would be the inspiration for the palace's creation. The emperor would also describe the palace as a place of sanctuary, meant for people to absolve their past sins as a testament to the creator's glory. Again, we see the motif of birth and a mother's death in the story, which is interesting since the secret of life is still out in the open in the La-Mulana world. Perhaps some clues to the secret of life's power lie in the Taj Mahal. A dungeon revolving around that area would certainly be something else. One thing that throws me off personally is the pyramids icon. Temple of the Sun covered a lot of Egyptology, so I'm not sure what more could be scried from this piece of info. The only thing I can think of is that they took notes from Sirius Sam and had aliens build the pyramids. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. I'd certainly like to see your input on this. The final thing I will be discussing in this video is the protagonist of La-Mulana 2. A blonde bombshell that is apparently Lameza's daughter. At Tokyo Game Show 2013, the demo booth had a female character similar to Lameza running around a new zone and whipping stuff. There's so much speculation that could surround this new idea considering we had no clue Lameza was married or he had a kid in-game. However, back during La-Mulana's Wii development, Nagoro made an April Fool's tale depicting a blonde bombshell saving Lameza at the Chamber of Birth. While this video was technically supposed to be an April Fool's joke, it certainly sets the stage for our new protagonist well since the sprites in the concept art of her are all readily available. My only concern is, will she be able to use dual pistols in-game? That might be a little weird. Unfortunately, this is all I could get from the first teaser of La-Mulana 2. Hopefully they'll get the ball rolling quickly so their fans can keep buying Nagoro games, but the future of our archaeological series is certainly looking bright.